headed east. 5 miles west of West Salem, Wisconsin. I stopped to pick something up, get some gas. Went into the Hy-Vee store there. It's the Hive, man. Wonder where they keep the queen. Either way, I went into the supermarket and I saw a sign on the wall with a baby squatted over a Huggies diapers box, and it said, baby sale, next 2 weeks only. And so I walked in and there was some kid there in the Hy-Vee outfit working. He looked normal, but I started talking to him and I said, hey, I said, where are you keeping the babies? And he said, excuse me? And he seemed kind of slow. And I said, where are you keeping the babies and how big are they? I don't want any that are too old. Nothing older than a toddler. And he said, I don't think we sell babies. And I said, well, the sign out there on the door says baby sale. He blinks a couple times and he says, I think they're talking about baby products. And I said, what'll that down? And the guy I was with says to the kid, he says, don't worry, he's just messing with you. And the kid's like, blink, blink. I looked at him, I said, I was acting. And he says, wow, you are a very good actor. And he had a half smile like he meant it. And he says, you should do it professionally. And you guys can attest to this. I told him, nobody wants to see me. And he said, blink, blink. I said, where are the toothbrushes? And he was able to take me there. So I went and I bought a toothbrush. And I said, I need milk for tonight. So I moved on my way and I went and found the milk. And as I'm getting the milk, some big round guy comes by and he's got glasses and a slow look on his face. And he goes by and he's muttering loudly. He says, I lost it. I lost it. And he's trotting by without lifting his feet. And I said, I gotta see this. So I tried to keep up with him. I thought maybe I can help him. But he was too fast for a guy walking, and I didn't want to be chasing some guy. With the way his hair was, it looked like he woke up in the shrubs. And I said, well, what the fuck is going on? So I got my milk, and then I grabbed a rotisserie chicken on the way out. I figure I can eat that tonight too. And as I'm walking out of the store, this thing, I think it was a female gender thing, came walking through the doors. And I said, it had the makeup of one of the guys I work with, like a giant sloth just moving. And its face was very troglodytic. I'm going, what the fuck is going on around here? I shouldn't be joking with these people. But when I got back out, the guy I'm with, he says, I said, where are we? And he says, I don't know. I said, I know it's Wisconsin. He says, I seem to remember being here before. And without me saying anything, he said, that kid seems slow. And I said, I saw 2 more of them. He says, this seems like there's something wrong here. He says, the countryside's beautiful. And it hit me. Ever since I was in the Army, I never met a person in the Army from Wisconsin. But I know people live in Wisconsin. And only once, twice maybe in my life have I ever really met someone from Wisconsin. And it's 56 years of life here. And I told the guy I'm with, I said, I made this joke for over 30 years, close to 40. I said, nobody is from Wisconsin. It's just people that got left behind camping and they bred. And I realized they didn't just mistakenly get left behind. They were left behind because they were slow and just not right altogether by the families. They just left them there. And somehow they survived, and they found each other, and they bred, and they populated a nation. And people traveling through, well, they got to be able to buy something, so they just built stuff around them. These people are wandering free, and I think they give them the right to vote. High V, low knees.
I am the Judas Resurrection.